Hi, and welcome back to my stories on how I started a food business. The episodes will be focusing on taxation. I must first of all let you know that I'm not an expert when it comes to taxes. So I would advise that you seek the advice of your accountant in getting things right. The few things that I will just be mentioning in this episode are the three basic areas you need to know as a food seller. The first one is VAT. VAT is called. This is value added tax. This is a tax that is added onto the food that you'll be selling by the government. At the current market rate in 2018, when I'm recording this program, is 20%. Not all food are covered by VAT. There are some food that VAT exempt. Therefore, you need to know what you are selling, what is your menu, what's going to go into your menu. For instance, if you are going to be selling hot food, it's beans that will be served by waiters and staff. You have introduced service into your food, you must charge VAT. But to be able to operate VAT, you need to have registered with VAT. I'll cover this in the next episode. And for the Inland Revenue to permit you to register, you either have to have reached the threshold of £85,000 turnover total sales, or you are going to be reaching it in a few months down the lane, and you are selling things that are VATable. So that's how VAT operates. The other one is income tax. Income tax is whenever you employ anybody, including yourself. For instance, if you are self-employed and you are working from your kitchen at home, if you decide to allocate wages to yourself, you have become liable for the income tax. The other area that you need to know is corporation tax. Corporation tax is the money that you have made or that have come into your business through sales, less the expenses your business have paid out to other vendors and suppliers. The remainder is called profit, and from this profit you would now have to pay tax. I've said in the previous episode that when you first start out in business, you might not make profit. It's okay, because you would have spent so much capital on the business in setting up. So the first few years might give you a loss. Therefore, you do not have to pay any corporation tax. You do not pay corporation tax until you actually start making profits. So the final thing that you have to also pay attention to as a food seller is the area of self-assessment. Though you are paying yourself income and you have done all the PAYE method which you are supposed to follow in income to be able to pay income tax. PAYE simply means pay as you earn. To get this right, I suggest you either talk to your accountant or use a payroll administrator. The essence of doing that is for them to assess the totality of your income and apportion things out, like your national contribution, your pension, and then your tax, which is now taken from your income and given to HMRC. If you employ staff as well and you are running the PAYE system, you have to register your business with HMRC, and then the money that comes in, you share it out to your staff, but the money that you'll be deducting from your staff is not your company money. For instance, if you are paying £1,000 for your kitchen assistant a month, from that £1,000 you would take out a percentage of tax that your payroll administrator would have calculated. That money will now go from your company to the Inland Revenue, but it will be taken out of that £1,000. So for instance, if you've done the PAYE payrolls and the staff is qualified for £900 after you've taken the taxes and other things out, that NI and also the tax that they are due to pay, their own income tax, will come out of their wages, not from your company or money, and then you remit it as a company to Inland Revenue. They've changed the system right now. It's now done in real time. Before, you can remit that money at any time, but now after each period, if you are doing weekly or monthly, you must remit the money immediately to the Inland Revenue. The area of calculating profit, the expenses that qualify as business expenses is another area where businesses get it wrong. Things like your personal expenses do not qualify as expenses for your business, unless, for instance, if you are cooking from home, you can apportion some of your bills, your utility bills, your rent, and the space you are using as a home kitchen as business expenses. Apart from such, if you have, you are running your business from a premises that you are paying rent on, your personal home expenses does not qualify as business expenses. So the things that normally qualify as expenses for business are things like your food cost, your utility bill, your gas, your electric bill, your rent and wages, the salaries you pay your staff, insurances, bank charges, interest on loan and overhead, your hire purchase, your lease for your equipment, your office equipment, your software, your contractors. Like if you have pest contractor, for instance, you can take that money out as business expense. You can also have professionals, your accountants, your legal, your lawyers, your solicitors. All these are the costs that you can take out of your business sales as business expenses. Pay attention to this because there is no ignorance in law. The other thing that you need to also know is that you keep the record for at least 6 years. These are all the things that will help you when you have a visit from the Inland Revenue, because they do come from time to time to inspect your account, to audit your account, to see if what you have actually done is correct. And I've seen businesses close down just because they didn't get taxes right. Because if you have not declared, sufficient tax, and the Inland Revenue come in and find out that there is an error, there is a grave error, they would penalize you. And a lot of businesses are slammed with big bills that they are unable to pay, and because they are unable to pay, they go bankrupt and they go out of business. So it's best to get things right, and to get it right, like I said, I'm not an expert in this area, and I also use an accountant to help me get things right. Thank you very much for watching this channel. I will again see you next time in the next episode. Bye bye.